So when you hear the word yoga, what does it mean to what do you decipher out of it? If you can just put up on the chat, no. So in my opinion, earlier I used to think that it may be something boring, it may be something difficult, it may be something which is a fashion fad. More and more people across the world are adapting to yoga, so maybe that's why even we should take it up. And also, in between, I used to think maybe it's also a waste of time because I have so many other things to do. And why yoga? But if I tell you this, most of you are surgeons, and you might have situations like this where you have a very stressful situation in your surgery. If you're a surgeon and you have such situations, obviously, if you have some tools that can help you in such situations, I think it is a good idea to adapt to it. So let me begin with my story. So in the beginning, what happened is there was a situation in my life where there was a lot of stress. I had to manage my busy clinical practice, had to take care of a small child, and also I had to manage my house. So this was a situation which I personally found difficult. So I was looking at an escape, actually. I thought, let me just take a break for some days in this situation. And that's when I decided to go for a retreat. So when I went for a retreat, what did I learn? So basically, I learned a very few practices, which I started implementing from day one onwards, and then began my transformational journey. So in the beginning, what I first noticed was when I was driving, I was much more relaxed. I was able to pay more attention. The second thing I noticed was my energy levels. Earlier, I used to be tired most of the time, but after starting these practices, I was much more energetic. And coming to the food choices, I started becoming more aware of what I was eating and what would be more nourishing for my system. And after the first stage of transformation, I noticed a few other subtle changes. When it came to my relationships, I realized that I stopped finding faults with other people, and it became more like I was trying to work on myself. There were also situations where I started breaking my rigidities. Earlier, I used to say, okay, I cannot do this. Maybe this is not possible. But slowly, I started stretching myself. I started taking posts in the local ophthalmic societies, and I started becoming more active socially. The next thing is I started volunteering for programs. So this attitude of volunteering shifted to all my day-to-day activities, like even at work or be it in any events. I started becoming more open to volunteering. And during volunteering, I realized that I could become more accommodative to people who are around me. Like if there are some people with certain strengths, I would encourage them to take up more and more activities. But if there are people who are finding certain things difficult, I learned how to give them more support. And in the domestic situation, so this used to be the situation in my house. If you see the picture on the left-hand side, whenever my husband would say something, I would always give a very sharp reply. And then it would become like this picture on the left-hand side with the two cats fighting with each other. But now, after practice of yoga, it has become more synchronized. And even if there is a strong action from the other side, I've learned to observe and slowly give a response. And in the long term, I've realized that I've started feeling more grateful, more joyful, and also I'm able to be in the present. And the spin-off being, I've been able to explore new avenues. I'm also learning a martial art, which is an Indian martial art called Kalaripayattu. I'm able to make presentations in conferences. I've also made a solo travel to an international conference and made new friends over there. And the best thing is, it was always my dream to go for a trek in a high altitude place. So I was able to make a journey to Kailash Mansarovar, which is a high altitude place, which is also actually slightly difficult physically and mentally, but I was able to do that because of my yoga practices. To quote Master Oogway from the movie Kung Fu Panda, he says to Po, "Your mind is like water, my friend. When it gets agitated, it becomes difficult to see. But if you allow it to settle, the answer becomes clear." So, in my own experience, I've been able to settle my body and mind with yoga. I'm sure that each one of you can use this technology to make the best use of your body and mind. Yoga is not only about twisting or turning your body, it is a way to take charge of your well being. Thank you.